What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here to talk about my man Legend UROUGE, which we were lucky enough to pull from the discount multi of the recently released Pirate Rumble Sugo Fest featuring Corazon. That was crazy. So we ended up pulling the brand new UROUGE as well as PvP Red Recruit Smoker, which I've been using a lot. He's been really good. But of course, I have uploaded the video of using him in Rumble, and personally speaking, I wasn't really completely content with the way that we showcased him, but I think honestly, it really comes down to the fact that int attack teams in Rumble are just kind of mid, and unfortunately, it kind of carries over to regular content as well. I really don't think this is a very good legend. I think he is acceptable, and you can use him in really unique ways that is kind of interesting, but is he the type of unit that's going to carry you through content? No, absolutely not, and honestly, not a lot of legends that release these days are that type of unit that can carry you through lots of different pieces of content. However, he does have some very unique things that I really wanted to discuss with you guys, and I just wanted to take this video to show you guys what he can do in these Garp challenges here and give my thoughts and opinions on him. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's talk about this unit as a whole. So the unit is obviously an int character. We're building int teams for the Garp challenge, but his classes are Powerhouse and Striker, which is fine. Those classes are perfectly acceptable for this unit. Both are very good, and you can use lots of different things with that. And obviously, because he is int Powerhouse and Striker, you actually get a pretty good array of characters that you can hybrid him with. In this example here, we're using Moria as a friend captain, so we'll have multiple turns of ore blocking with the super type, the Ho ship, we had the Otama support, we have Ace support on Whitebeard. There's just lots of ore blocking, so we can consistently keep matching slots for the entire duration of the fight. It's really awesome. The next clip versus Hody Jones is going to be with a versus Whitebeard as a friend captain, and then the final one versus the worst generation, we're going to be using super type Blackbeard as a captain, and the worst generation fight is very fast. We get through it super quickly, and obviously it is due to the fact that super type Blackbeard has a very good super type special that helps a lot in that quest. But the reason why that he is a good unit that you'd want to be hybriding with is the fact that, UROUGE himself doesn't really provide that much to your team. He himself does not have a super type or a super class special like the other Pirate Rumble legend characters that have released thus far, and that's a huge downside. I really don't like the fact that these units just don't have a super type or don't have a super class. Even just a unique captain action in a way would have been kind of cool, but unfortunately they decided not to go down that route. So talking about his captain ability though, he boosts the attack of powerhouse characters by 5 times in the turn that his special is launched. Otherwise, it's going to be a 4.25 times boost. I believe it might be a 4.5. I can't remember exactly. It's either a 4.25 or a 4.5 times boost as a base boost for powerhouse characters. But another thing that's kind of interesting is that he provides you a 1.75 times HP boost. And if you're running double UROUGE, the amount of HP that you have is astronomical. And he also will give all other characters still a 4 times base boost at the very minimum, which is kind of okay. And then he also has a really cool effect that he makes your crew immune to blow away. So you guys will see a little bit later on in the fight that that's going to be a really unique effect that he has. And he will also go ahead and reduce his own cooldown by 3 turns every time that he takes damage. Now, we didn't actually make full advantage of that because I really wanted to save his special with like a Trafalgar Law support to get an orb boost and a chain lock in one special activation. But that's actually really cool that you can get his special back very quickly. And the fact that whenever you take 30,000 damage total, he automatically will launch his special at the start of the next turn. So we were able to get that to activate a couple of times, but 30,000 damage is just a little excessive for my liking. I think that Super Type Kaido, the blue one that came out obviously quite a while back now, I think that character had it just right, because that character automatically launched his own special every time you took 10,000 damage. Now, I believe the HP boost of Kaido was definitely like a lot less significant than what this UROUGE is applying. But honestly, in today's day and age, I feel like 10,000 damage would have been perfect, because the amount of consistent special activations that you would have been able to achieve would have been pretty awesome. I honestly don't know why they didn't reduce that cap a little bit. Even if they reduce the HP boost, but then make that special launch way more often, would be way more beneficial to this unit compared to what they currently have now. And as we mentioned, this character does not have a super type or a super class special, so there's no unique mechanic that you can activate in the middle of an adventure, which is a little bit of a downside, honestly. And then his special ability, while it's interesting, it's not anything game-breaking either, providing 200 times this character's attack in int damage to a single enemy. and it also will go ahead and reduce paralysis by 5 turns, which is an okay piece of utility, and he also reduces the special cooldowns of your powerhouse characters by 1 turn, and if your captain is a powerhouse character, he gives you a 3.75 times chain lock for 1 turn. So, I mean, the damage is negligible, the paralysis reduction is a neat little addition to his special ability, but the fact that he reduces cooldowns by 1 to powerhouse, I think that's kind of cool, and it would make a lot of sense if that were to activate a lot more often with his captain ability, because as he said earlier, taking 30,000 damage to automatically launch his special, it's a bit excessive in my personal opinion. But if that was a little bit of a lower threshold, like it was around 10,000 damage, meaning that his special ability could launch more often, which in turn means that you can get even more cooldown to your powerhouse characters. Unfortunately, that's not the case. But then the 3.75 chain lock, again, like it's a nice buff for sure, and it'll give you a pretty substantial damage increase. But as we know in today's day and age, you know, chain locks aren't really the best way forward in terms of overall damage output. We've seen a lot more damage come from chain boundaries in conjunction with chain boosts. And the fact that this character has resorted to just a chain lock, and it's not even one of the best chain locks in the game. I mean, 3.75 is really good, but it is only a 1-turn chain lock as well, so you can't stack it over multiple turns. I just think that this character, it just really feels like this character was built and designed to be released like last year. It's just a really old school design character. This character really should have had some slight tweaks before release to make this character a little bit more modern, a little bit more powerful to be used in regular content. But on the flip side of that, you got to remember that this is a Pirate Rumble Sugofest exclusive character. This character was designed with Pirate Rumble in mind, and while he does succeed in Pirate Rumble with providing some pretty nice buffs to int attack teams, I do think that they still should provide some pretty decent buffs to a character to be used in regular play, because this is still a Sugofest exclusive at the end of the day. These are not easy characters to acquire. You have to pull outside of regular Sugofests in order to get your hands on a character such as this. So I feel like if they're going to make characters even more limited and restricted than what they already are, they should make them worthwhile investments to go ahead and chase. And unfortunately, I don't think UROUGE really hits that mark. And while he's a decent character that can provide some unique abilities, particularly that immune to blow away can come in clutch in certain circumstances, and I think his special ability can provide a couple of decent buffs to your crew and a little bit of utility, I really don't think that the investment is worth it to be pulling on a Pirate Rumble Sugofest specifically for a character such as UROUGE. And if you compare him to some of the other Pirate Rumble Sugofest exclusive characters that we'd received, I mean, I think he's around about their same level. I still think in terms of regular content, I think that the Kizaru character is probably still the best one, but unfortunately, I do think Kizaru might be like the worst of the Pirate Rumble legends in Pirate Rumble itself. So it just feels like they kind of lack a little bit of balance with some of these characters, where some characters may be really good in Pirate Rumble, such as Eneru, for example, but I mean, Eneru has his buffs just coming from the other characters you get access to on the side team. They're incredibly powerful, whereas, you know, the strength team, while Kuma is fine, Final Tap Kid really does fulfill the same role that Kuma does. They have the same cost on their team, and if you had to choose, would you rather have Kuma on your team or would you rather have Final Tap Kid? I'm pretty sure a large majority of the community would still pick Final Tap Kid for being better in Pirate Rumble and also being a better unit in regular content. And then you've got Kizaru. While he does provide some pretty interesting buffs and does provide only 1,000 damage to the enemy, he's not a requirement to be using on an offensive or defensive dex team in Pirate Rumble. And you got UROUGE, where if you want to be running a really strong int attack team, then yes, I do believe UROUGE will be one of those required units alongside the Dory and Broggy character that released alongside him to build a very solid foundation for your int attack team, along with characters like Gecko Moria or the Sugofest exclusive Yamato. I think that you can build a really good team around that. But it's not like it's the end-all be-all. You don't need an int attack team to be, you know, in Pirate Rumble. You don't need that to be successful in that game mode. Int is probably one of the worst colors in terms of offense. In terms of defense, they're extremely strong and very difficult to deal with. But UROUGE still, even on a defensive team, you don't really even need that. You can still get away with a lot of other characters like the free-to-play Sengoku, Gecko Moria, Yamato. The characters that you would normally be pulling for are going to suffice regularly in Pirate Rumble for an inter-defense team. This is not a character you really need. This character does have a pretty interesting support effect though, where he attaches to any int powerhouse character, so a little bit specific, but it says that when that character that he attaches to does a damage dealing or a health cutting special, he changes the supported character slot into an int slot and locks the chain multiplier at 2.5 times for 1 turn. So a pretty neat 2.5 chain locking support effect, though I do find it strange that his special ability is a 3.75 times chain lock, and his support effect is only providing a 2.5 times chain lock. I think at a bare minimum it should have been a 3x chain lock. A little bit bizarre that they decided to go down that route. If I remember correctly, I believe Guild Tesora with his support is like a 3x chain lock, though he does support very niche units. Just a little bit strange that a character with such a high chain multiplier special has a really low base chain support for his support effect anyway. Really bizarre choice there. But either way, that is going to wrap up this video today. I think UROUGE is an interesting unit, has some unique things about him. He's good in an int offensive manner, but I think that's about as good as it gets with this character. They really should have tweaked a couple of things to make him just a little bit stronger in not only just regular content, but even in Pirate Rumble. I think it's not really his fault that you know, int are that bad in the grand scheme of things in Pirate Rumble. They should definitely just release better int offensive units in that game mode. But anyways, that is going to wrap up this video today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about Legend UROUGE down below in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video today, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.